I am really excited to be talking today with David Wells, a longtime collaborator and person that is dear to me. Um, and you are going to also be a facilitator in reimagining a new world, building practices. So I'd love for you to talk about your topic. What is it about?
So the title of my topic is Discuss the Police, and it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. My goal is to facilitate a discussion between the participants, namely about what their perceptions of the institution of the police are, and sort of what maybe a little bit of also personal and lived experiences that people have had with the police. It's a topic to me that matters because not just because it happens to be pretty significant in the media right now, but it's the institution of the police is a really strong organization that carries a lot of influence and endows its members with a lot of power. And so I think it's incumbent upon us, society, to take a good look at who is getting that power, how is it being distributed, how is it being protected, how is it being potentially misused, in order to make sure that we're protecting the rights and the safety of the individuals that the institution says it is intended to protect. And as with any story, there are many sides. So exactly who is being protected from whom is a big deal right now, and I think it bears some closer inspection. I also want to be clear that my take on it personally, and I'm not speaking necessarily for everyone who discusses this topic, but for me personally, it's not about looking at individual people. I don't think it's productive to discuss, are there good police officers or are there bad police officers? Because of course there are both. I personally know both. But I think it's important that we look at what is the set of influences behind whether someone is good or bad, and how that power is borne out once people actually start doing the job as they're on the streets.
You spoke personally. I wonder, why is this personally an important topic for you?
I mean, I personally have had the experience more than once of being pulled over for no reason. And just for clarity, I have also been pulled over for speeding and things when I deserved it. So it's not that I've never done something bad, but there have been times when I've been just sort of minding my own business, or even when I'm just like standing around literally doing nothing, but maybe hanging out in a neighborhood with other people who look like me. And the idea of like a few too many Black people congregating together makes someone feel uncomfortable. At the same time, I have family friends who work in the police department in various like, I don't actually know what they're called, departments, subgroups of the police department, and they're family friends. I see them on Thanksgiving, I trust them. And they also have had positive and negative things to say about the institution of the police. And, I think that's an interesting topic in and of itself. Black police officers have a huge burden to deal with, as they genuinely, I think, try to protect their communities, but also have to deal with all of the weight of history that is involved and entangled with the idea of the police in this country. So yeah, it's important to me, not only because I know Black people who have gone through it and have pride in the job that they've done and the work that they've done, but are not blind to the injustices that can be perpetrated by the police department too. And because I, and basically every other, many other of the Black males, especially that I know, that I have talked to about it, we all have at least one story of like, something happening. And all of my friends are lucky because we're all still here. We like nothing that was violent or horrifically objectionable happened to us. So we get to talk about the stories, but that is not true for many people. And that's something that has to stop.
in this particular forum, what makes you, well, excited feels like the wrong word, but I can't think of anything else
Yeah.
to maybe have this dialogue within the Taiko community.
Mhm.
You thought it about that specific lens that we're bringing forward with our convening.
Mhm. I think there's a lot of just in like conversations that I've had with my own groups of friends. I think there are a lot of different perceptions of like what the police do, what they represent, who they are as individuals, and also, you know, I have some friends who are kind of on the other side of the political spectrum from I am, and they have very, very different ideas about what the police do and the reason that it needs to exist. And so hearing all these different ideas, it's just sort of like, wow, I wonder if everyone is aware that there are this many different perceptions of what the police do, where the police department came from. You know, that it's like, okay, maybe we should just get together and like talk about it and see what you think. Try to understand why people feel the way that they do, and use that as a means to like um, not only just like sharing everyone's experiences and stories as a way to like begin some kind of healing process for people, especially that have had negative experiences, feeling like they can be heard and believed and trusted, but also like maybe shedding some light on the the parts or the aspects of the police institution that just have to change, you know, because they are actually functioning contrary to what the public perception or the basically what the police say that they do and say that they represent. Some of the things about the history of the police department, which are ensconced in their operation, are completely counter to that. So that can exist if your mission and what's happening are not the same, and the history of what's happening is also counter to your stated mission. Um, that can't work. So we need to figure out, how do we address that? How do we try to promote a more realistic perception of what the police are? Because until the public sort of has an understanding of what is happening and why, and believes it, frankly, it's hard to generate any kind of change. And change, you know, for me, one of the ways that change can begin is by sharing stories.
Thank you. I'm grateful and I'm excited, and I just have so much feelings about what you're bringing forward, what so many of our discussion facilitators are also bringing forward. Thank you for having this conversation, this program.
Thank you.